Hello, everyone. This is Schizomanic here, and I should have done a live reaction to the last episode of Occult 9 because holy shit. Um, so I was dicking around with the episodes, and then I got to episode 6, and I was like, well, then I see we're playing a different game. Um, Realistically, episode 5, there's not too much to cover because episode 5 was really just Gamon meeting Sarai and trying to figure out the code and the message that his dad left behind. That's mainly what it is. And then him bringing out Ririka's Dojin that seems to be predicting the future. So essentially, we have like I think just two fortune tellers, Miyu and Rurika. Although Rurika is very fucking suspicious throughout this whole fucking episode, but there's never any like confirmation of what she's doing. And then I watched the next episode, which because we see the white hair boy again. We saw the white hair boy, I think when Chi Chan got like when Chi Chan disappeared, we saw the white hair boy. Then we saw him again in episode 5, and then we saw him again in episode 6. Except it seems like this time in episode 6, he's fucking like he's done some shit, and we find out that in this episode he's essentially killed um he's killed Chichan trying to do one of those like Kabuto sacrifices. But here's the thing that's confusing about this shit. That's not the crazy part. The crazy part of this episode is at the very fucking end, where after you find out that this girl just lost her best friend, you find out that Gamon doesn't really know how to emotionally handle helping her. So he's just kind of like, well, I guess I'm going to handle this the best way I can, and I'm going to work on fixing. I'm going to work on translating all these names, and then you're just kind of like, what the fuck is going on? Because I'm trying to figure out. This shit threw me off. So Gamon is supposedly dead, according to what they're saying in the storyline. At least by the end of this episode 6, it's like, oh, she's dead, and you're just kind of like, what? How? How is that possible? The other question is, when did he die? But we also start finding out in this episode that there seems to be the reason why this whole 256 murder was an issue in the first place is that we had a group. Pretty much, it boils down to you have a group of fucking higher ups, probably in the government in some form or some form or shape, and who want immortality. They want to be immortal. So the 256 are just casualties of the first phase of working out the kinks to become to pretty much perfect the method they're using to become immortal. And I'm guessing that means that Yuta was one of those casualties. That also brings up the question, why in the fuck does he not realize that? For one, when the hell did he die? And two, when the hell did he die? When the hell did he die, and why is he still able to interact with people? It's not like I started looking on forums, and there's this theory going around that supposedly every main character in this series is dead except for probably Miyu, who obviously can kind of sort of talk to dead people, maybe, possibly. We don't fucking know. Oh my god, this episode threw me off. Is one of the reasons why I wanted to do a review before I got home because and I'm probably gonna do a follow up video. There's a lot of shit here. So we have an organization trying to obtain immortality. They have no problem sacrificing humans to do so, and obviously, maybe there's like, and it's assumed now that Professor Hashigami is probably a dude who did not agree with that and said, "Fuck that noise! We ain't doing that." And he got killed for it because he either tried to expose them or he just tried to break out of the project. More than likely, he tried to expose them and he got killed for it. But then the question becomes, okay, So that's why Hashigami died. But when did Gamon die? Did Gamon die? That's the question. And it also doesn't make sense because how are ghosts witnessing deaths and being questioned by other ghosts? As I said, there's a theory running around that almost every main character in the series is dead, which would kind of explain Ryotas a little bit, how Ryotas acts a certain way. Suspicious. And I think that's intentional. I think Ryotas knows more than what she's pretending to know. Or either that or she's just kind of like, because remember, the other issue we've noticed, and the reason why people think it's the whole everyone is dead theory, is also because these characters don't interact with any other people. It also would explain why the fucking police dude is like looks like he's 10, because he probably is dead. There's some credence to the idea that every main character in the series is dead, but it doesn't explain what's going on. Does that mean that? What does that mean for? Well, except for Miyu, supposedly Miyu is the one who is not dead. But then it brings up the question: who the fuck has been interacting? Why? And the problem is that the way this anime is structured, there is no way to believe that we're gonna get like a full explanation of what the fuck is going on. It's just kind of like, oh, Gamon's dead, and you're just kind of like, what? Which is probably the reason why Zonko was telling him to ignore finding out the names, because eventually he was gonna find out he was dead. That also brings up the question: is that the reason why they used the radio? The radio was obviously used to talk to dead people, but is it the reverse now that someone in the real world is but then who's trying to catch him? Why is it that's the this is where thing, and then you have the kid looking for the list. Can't see, that's the problem. There's the idea that every character's dead, but then how are certain characters interacting with him? It's not hard to believe that the police dude is dead because he doesn't look right in the show to begin with. He looks like a kid rocking a detective outfit. So there's nothing to make me think that he might not also be dead. But then it brings up the question of Sarai and goddamn Riotas. Riotas, who hasn't really given any much in terms of exposition, but it also means other characters have met him. There's a lot of shit going on. I don't know how to I don't know how to process it. I'm gonna have to look this shit up first, then get some more information. But for right now, I legitimately don't know how to process all this, because you have this white haired kid who was following the instructions of cursing someone. The kotobatari is just used as a device to curse people. The kid already knew Miyu's name, which tells me that maybe his intention was to grab Miyu and he accidentally got Chichan because he didn't know what Miyu looked like. But then again, he just casually walks away. They chase him, they can't find him. There's a lot of shit going on. This show is very fucking confusing, but breaking it down, I'm gonna have to analyze this. I'm gonna sit out, and probably throughout the week you'll probably get maybe one or two more videos about this. I need to research some shit because I'm trying to figure out why those string of events. And granted, this show could just have bad writing, and that could be part of the reason why this doesn't make sense. But I'm gonna try to piece it together as much as I can. But him being dead then brings up the question: is that the gimmick of Occult 9? That you have a main character? Is that the appeal of Kitty Kitty, of the Kitty Kitty blog? Is that it's a blog that no one knows the writer of because the writer isn't really alive, or maybe he used to be the writer? Because my question now is, when in the story did he die? If Gamon's dead and that means he was experimented on, that means he was not necessarily a success, but he was a different result than other characters, than the other people who died. How you can tell the difference and when did he die, that's a whole fucking nother story, son. The problem is, to dig into this means to dig into the possible light novel that would spoil plot points. So I got to figure out how I'm going to approach this. But for right now, This is very fucking confusing, and I gotta. What the fuck? I'm gonna research this and I'll come back later. But leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I'm gonna try to be more consistent with these episodes now. This was kind of the hook I needed. It's still not the bestly written, and I'm pretty sure this pacing is fucked up a lot of things because it feels like the group is kind of formed haphazardly. Um, we'll just see. We'll see what happens. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Peace off. Ho.